Hey everyone, Miss Demarest here with our first flipped classroom video, and today we will be reviewing some basic world geography. As you watch this video, please keep the following in mind. You should be actively taking notes in your notebook. Remember to pause and rewind if you need to re-listen to something or if the video goes too fast. Write down any questions you have to be asked in class, and when you're done, take the quiz. So let's get started. Our goals for this video are 1. To answer the question, what is geography? And 2nd, how is geography relevant to the study of world history? So by the end of the video, you should be able to answer those two questions. Pictured here is Earth and Jupiter, Earth being on the left and Jupiter being on the right. Hopefully you already knew that. Nearly 7 billion people populate our planet, and although we think of this as a really big number, it's actually pretty small in the context of the universe, considering that Earth can fit into Jupiter 1,200 times. So if our population remained constant and we lived on a planet the size of Jupiter, the human population would be about 84 trillion people. Whoa. Although this may seem a little elementary, I want to make sure that we are all on the same page. So the Earth's major landforms are broken down into continents. There are 7 of them, including North and South America, Europe, Africa, Asia, Australia, and Antarctica. Please be sure to note that Africa is not a country, but instead a continent. We further divide location and place by hemispheres. The hemispheres are divided by the 0-degree latitude line, also known as the equator, and the 0-degree longitude line, which we call the prime meridian. With those invisible lines in place, you can clearly see 4 hemispheres form: the northern and southern, bisected by the equator, and the eastern and the western, divided by the prime meridian. Now that we have some basics down, let's take a look at the specifics of geography. Geography can be defined as the study of Earth's physical features and human activity, and also how human activity affects the Earth's environment. There are several themes that we will be exploring this year. The first is location, or where things are specifically located on Earth. The second is place. What is it like when you get somewhere? Is it warm or cold, wet or dry? Are there mountains and lakes, or deserts and cactus? The third is movement. People and ideas often move or spread out of a central location to other places nearby. The fourth is human-environment interaction, which describes the relationship between people and their environment. How humans interact with their environment creates individual cultures, customs, and beliefs. Humans can also physically master and alter their environments, which can have negative effects, such as unnatural climate change that we are experiencing today. We often study geography through the analysis of maps because they can tell us a lot about a population of people. There are 3 different types of maps that you should probably be familiar with, so let's quickly review them. The first is political maps, which shows countries, capitals, and territorial borders. For example, on a political map, you can clearly see where one country ends and the other begins. Physical maps, on the other hand, show the physical features of a place, such as mountain ranges, rivers, lakes, and deserts. The third type of map is thematic, which can show changing trends over populations. For example, a thematic map might plot world hunger, or maps showing the availability of natural resources in a country. Let's take a look at what these maps actually look like. Here's an example of a political map. You might notice that Europe no longer looks like this, as the borders have changed since the end of the First World War. Throughout history, countries' political boundaries were often in flux and changing due to wars and treaties. Next up is a physical map. You can clearly see the North American mountain ranges labeled, the Appalachians in the east and the Rockies in the west. Other features on the map include important rivers, lakes, and plateaus. The last map shown here is a thematic map. This map is showing the most and least natural and human resources within a country's boundaries. What are some inferences or conclusions you can draw about the relationship between natural resources and production and wealth? Go ahead and pause the video and write down a couple in your notes. So why is all of this important to world history anyway? First and foremost, borders provide a national identity for people, which breeds unity, culture, and shared ideas. In contrast, it can also breed conflict. For example, in the dawn of World War II, Hitler wanted to rejuvenate the German Empire, which consisted of parts of Austria, Czechoslovakia, and Poland. Since his main goal was to reunite the geography of Germany, he started taking over Europe, which essentially started World War II. Geography also impacts how civilizations rise and fall. The first earliest civilizations all spurred up around rivers. That wasn't a coincidence. These societies needed water for the survival of their people and their way of life. So geography has tons of historical implications. Realistically, though, it's really important to understand that the majority of humans do not live in the United States, or even in the Western Hemisphere for that matter. So to get a true understanding of where people come from and their way of life, understanding their geography and the historical implications of place and environment is really important. So that's all I have for you today. Make sure to take the quiz by clicking on the link below, and I will see you next time.